How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to the Yamaha Boating Academy. My name is Tyler Anderson, and today's video is going to consist of talking about the process of backing a boat down the ramp, getting it off the trailer, and of course, putting the boat back on the trailer safely, and after a good day of fishing or hanging out with family, and getting back safely on the road. So let's jump into tip number one when it comes to backing your boat down the ramp. Step number one when it comes to getting your boat ready to go down the ramp is just that. You have to get your boat ready. Now, I have a Skeeter FXR 21 right here, and so of course my Yamaha SHO requires taking off the motor block, the steering blocks, and any sort of straps that are on either the back of the hull or on the front. That way your boat is fully ready to go down the ramp. But the worst thing you can do is on a crowded boat ramp on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, is you pull up and you sit right in the way of other people that are potentially faster than you are at getting their boats into the water or are just more prepared. And so always make sure you are aware of your surroundings, aware of anybody else around you, and you're being courteous. And so today I've pulled off to the side, away from the boat ramp. That way if anybody else wants to come launch, they can, and I'm not hindering them launching their boat. And so I'm gonna get the boat ready. We're gonna take all the clips off the engines, all the straps off the boat. That way we are ready to back the boat down the ramp. Step number two when it comes to backing your boat safely down the ramp is understanding what your ramp and your parking lot is like. That way you don't get yourself in a pickle when you're trying to back down. So if you have any other boaters around you, maybe let them launch first and see kind of what path they take. That way you can emulate that and have the safest possible launch. Also, every boat ramp is different. So here we have a gravel ramp on this side, and we have a concrete ramp on this side. So of course, I'm gonna opt to use the concrete ramp, and you wanna make sure, for the safety of everybody, that you check to make sure the ramp is clear. I don't care how many times you've launched at this particular ramp, you always want to walk down and make sure there's no grass, there's no logs, and of course you want to make sure the ramp is cleared of all people. Boat ramps are oftentimes at public parks, and so you want to make sure that any kids or families are away from the water, definitely not in the water where you're backing down. That way you can back the boat down safely. So after you've checked the area, you are ready to back your boat down the ramp. And the last step when it comes to preparing the way is to be safe. Owning a boat is a responsibility, and you want to make sure that you're getting you, your family, and your friends on the water as safely as possible, while also looking out for those around you. So when it comes to backing, as we'll talk here in a second, you want to take your time as much as you can. Haste makes waste, as my dad always told me, and that is totally true. Any time that I've ever tried to be fast when it comes to the boat launching process, I've ended up messing up and making a fool of myself with the boat ramp. So let's hop in and show you guys how to back a boat down the ramp. So now that I have the boat trailer fully straightened up to the ramp, I'm just gonna back it down nice and slow. Now, one thing I had to learn when I was younger is how to use my mirrors. The mirror is the most important piece of equipment when it comes to backing your boat. So just spend a day in the parking lot if you're unsure as to how they function and how your boat looks. Get familiar with them, it'll help you out a ton. And so I'm just gonna have the boat nice and straight and back it right down the ramp. Like I said, taking it slow. And I just use the mirrors to guide the boat right next to the dock. Now, just personal preference, I like to have my windows down. That way I can kind of feel the surroundings better. But ideally you have a friend that's in the boat with you that you launch, a friend, family member that you launch out into the water. But I'm by myself today, so everything's unhooked, the plug is in. I'm going to simply back it down the ramp, just deep enough so the boat can slide off the trailer. I'll jump out of the truck and we will be ready to go fishing. And of course, if you can, put the boat right back next to the trailer, next to the dock. Use your shallow water anchors if you have them. If not, have someone grab you. And you are ready for a good day out on the water. So now that the boat is off the trailer and it is completely out of the way of anybody else on the edge of the dock there, we're gonna pull up straight into a parking space, making sure we're parking good to be courteous of others. And I say we go fishing. So after another successful day on the water, it is time that we put the boat back on the trailer. So we're gonna hop in the truck, we're gonna back it down, follow the steps that I just mentioned to get the trailer properly down onto the ramp and into the water. And we're gonna show you guys the steps that I take in order to get my Skeeter and my Yamaha properly back on the trailer and heading back down the highway. So one thing you have to understand as a boat owner is how your trailer likes to sit in the water for the easiest possible way of putting your boat back on the trailer. And so with my Skeeter, I've noticed that it likes to be sitting in the water where about the middle of the trailer is where the water line sits. Now your boat, of course, may be completely different than mine is, and you have to test out what the easiest way to get your boat back on the trailer is, because you don't want to power load your boat with the trailer too low in the water, and you don't want to have the trailer too high in the water where your dad has to, you know, crank up the boat every time and pull some muscles. And so trailers are designed for boats to be easily taken off and put back on, and this is exactly how my trailer is. Make sure you guys are understanding and learning where your trailer needs to sit in the water in order to properly put your boat back on. So now we are finally ready to put the boat back on the trailer, and the quote that I said earlier, haste makes waste, completely applies as well to putting your boat back on the trailer. Over my years of boating, I have seen so many people, whether they're trying to look cool and do it fast, or maybe they're in a hurry or in a rush to get back home, I've seen so many people not take their time on putting the boats back on the trailer. They end up hurting somebody or hurting their equipment, and that is definitely not worth it. So something that I always do, no matter how calm or windy it is I like to back the boat away from the dock, do a full loop. That way I'm fully straight and ready to put the boat back on the trailer, and it's easy every single time. I hardly ever have an issue putting my boat on the trailer because I plan out my route and I take my time. So let's get this thing on the trailer. Like I mentioned, taking your time. You really got to understand how you're supposed to line it up straight, and after a while it'll become second nature. But just like this, super slow, into gear, back in neutral, into gear, back in neutral, and just like that, just on the trailer. Now, of course, ideally you have a friend or a family member that can crank it up as you go, but because I've backed the boat trailer down so perfectly, all I do is I trim up here on my SHO, give it some gas, and boom, we are on the trailer. It is super easy. Turn the engine off, of course, trim it up, strap it on, and you're ready to head down the road. All right, so we have gotten the boat out of the water. All you gotta do now is, of course, put all the things that you took off the boat earlier, the sticks, the straps, make sure the boat is perfectly ready to trailer on down the highway, and we'll see you guys down the road.